on! Almost. Finally, yeah!
Triumph is ours!
Kuros!
But the battle of wizards and warriors continues with IronSword. The evil wizard Malkil will take the shape of the earth, wind, water, and fire. Farewell! The fate of the world is in your hands! Back by a beast!
Live the saga of IronSword on your Nintendo Entertainment System from Acclaim.
Kuros?
Hi there, welcome to episode 148 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most interesting video game music there is. Continuing this recent trend of revisiting older episodes in hopes of doing them more justice, this week we travel back to July 2015, where a younger and handsomer me sat down to record an episode on an NES David Wise classic. I sat down alone, though, and as I hadn't acquired a co-host yet, and well, this soundtrack is so good it warrants a proper discussion, so don't get carried away by a giant eagle, because tonight we listen to the music of IronSword, Wizards and Warriors 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, hi there, Matt.
Hi there, Kris.
How you doing?
I'm alright. You?
Yeah, I'm okay, too. Fingers crossed that we don't get interrupted by a small child watching Encanto while we're recording this. My daughter's homesick from school today, but she's just sat down to a nice Pixar movie, and I think it'll be enough time to cover this episode nicely.
All right then.
All right. Well, we're just gonna get right to work. Since we've covered this game's history back in episode 7, we aren't gonna go too deep in its actual stuff here today. Suffice to say, the game's soundtrack was composed by David Wise, one of my absolute favorites, and it's a shining example of how great music can sound coming out of an NES. Matt, what is your history with IronSword, Wizards and Warriors 2?
Unfortunately, I don't really have any. I was telling you just beforehand that I had played and beat a Wizards and Warriors, but it was the first one. So IronSword is not something I'm familiar with at all.
Oh, goodness. This is a wonderful game. It's probably the biggest claim to fame is that it's got Fabio on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Big buttery slabs of Fabio. But I played the first one a lot at, I can't remember which friend's house I played the first one at. And then this one came along, and it's a very similar kind of gameplay to the first one, but the graphics are like really good. There's some really amazing visuals in this one. Like there's a big dragon, the eagle, there's a giant eagle that carries you into the sky in the beginning of the game, and it's like ridiculously well animated for an NES game. It's like, good gravy, this is awesome. But the back of the box images on this one are just like, holy crow, look at that. I remember seeing it in a friend's Nintendo Power. That's where I first saw this. Looking at the pictures of like this giant frog and whatnot. It's such a cool game, and the soundtrack really stuck with me. This was way before I knew David Wise. He's not even credited in this one. It's just the music is credited to Rare at the end of the game. But this is David Wise doing his thing in just a glorious manner, and it stuck with me enough to make me want to do an episode in the first place. And we really should do the first game at some point.
Yeah, why not? I could talk a little bit more about that.
Here we are covering the second one for a second time, not even realizing until just now we never covered the first darn game, which also has a great soundtrack.
Write it down. Put it on the list.
It's on the list. We'll make it happen pretty soon. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take care of this business here. So,
yes.
I'm not sure how I'm going to open up this episode, but I don't think we talked about this song. I talked about this song the first time I did this episode, and that is this game's title screen, which is where we're going to start off with. This is I don't know, man. This is a very official sounding song. I don't know how else to describe it. So let's dive into this one. This is the title screen theme from IronSword, Wizards and Warriors 2 by David Wise. Enjoy. Right, that was the title screen from IronSword Wizards and Warriors 2, and honestly, the title screen music from the first Wizards and Warriors was always going to be a high bar to cross. I don't know that this is a better song than that original Wizards and Warriors theme, but this is still a really good, imposing title screen theme. What did you think of this one?
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. That kind of counter melody, like that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's really cool for NES too.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. All three of these NES Wizards and Warriors games from David Wise have ridiculously good title themes, and they're all pretty different from one another. The first one is just one of those all-time classic NES title screen themes that really sticks in your head. And this one is just like, you turn this thing on, and there's this gigantic Kyros knight, like super detailed, holding a sword, and like his armor's glistening and whatnot, and this music's going, whoa. This is some like awesome hardcore Lord of the Rings fantasy stuff right here. We're about to get wrecked with some wizards and warriors.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, and it's also not true because there's a wizard in this game.
Yeah.
And I think only one warrior. I mean, I guess the shopkeep can pick you up and kick you out of his shop, so that's kind of warrior-esque. If he can pick up a dude in like knight's armor and just boot him out of the store. Oh wait, no, that was in the third game. And I still wouldn't mess with the shopkeeper in this game. He's huge. So, wizard and warriors is more like.
All right.
Either way, fantastic tune. Great way to kick things off. Nice energy, nice bold energy. So let's see. Let's go to the next track you hear, which is it's called Mountain. At least that's what I have it listed as here, because this does appear a couple of times throughout the course of the game. I don't even remember which other levels, but it just shows up periodically. Either way, it's a fantastic tune, and I love it, so let's give it a listen. Here's Mountain from Wizards and Warriors 2. That was Mountain, which is a really cool first level. I like that song a lot for it being a first level bottom of the mountain. Let's start climbing our way up, because just like the original Wizards and Warriors, this game is all about jumping, which is such a weird thing considering that it's a game featuring a knight in armor. And it's about jumping, which is probably the last thing you want to do when wearing a full suit of armor. But what'd you think about this one?
Or can do in a full suit of armor, but
exactly.
I digress. It's really good. I definitely get that idea of climbing, because I feel like there's pieces of the melody that build, and they ascend as well, so it gives an oral, yes, I'm using the word correctly, representation of kind of what you're doing on screen. I gotta say, I really like the actual kind of timbre of the music we've heard so far. There's something about the Nintendo sound chip that always feels warm, like the way people talk about analog versus digital. There's this very warm and full sound to it. So even something as simple as NES, for example, it still sounds full. And this is one of those tracks that there's not a lot going on, but I feel that it still feels very full to me.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I completely agree. It's almost uncharacteristically full for an NES game. I don't know necessarily uncharacteristic, but this is something that David Wise was very good at, and the best sound teams for NES. Like if you think of Konami music and stuff. And you compare it to a lot of other NES stuff that's of lower quality, sounds way more hollow. But this is just a great example of what was possible on the platform as far as sounding dynamic and full. Like, it's not a super complicated song, but it is a really well put together song. And what it does so extraordinarily well that it sounds more complex than it is. And it doesn't actually need anything more complicated because it's executed so extraordinarily well. Like that little, I guess, kind of whistle tune, or the really, it starts off with a do like your really low bass stuff, and then it's just really creeping in like and it doesn't even change volume in the song, but it kind of sounds like it does. Like it's this whistle kind of creeping in before everything kind of draws back into that just bass line and the percussion is extraordinarily simple. It's just these little tick 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 things, but they're used to such an extraordinary degree that really just give a driving rhythm to the whole piece. It's a remarkable song. I just love it.
I couldn't agree with you more. you just put it together so eloquently.
Oh, thanks. So after this, you get grabbed by the head by a giant, well-animated eagle and dragged into the clouds. Looks very painful because at this point you don't have a helmet. But you land in the clouds, which is where the second half of this level is before you go to fight the wind elemental. Of course, this game is about Kyros tracking down Malkil, who survived his brutal defeat in the end of the first Wizards and Warriors game, and is now taken on the form of 4 elementals, which is pretty cool. You got to track down specific spells to fight them, and they're these really awesome, like, screen-filling boss-looking things. They're very cool. But so yeah, the second half is in the clouds, and this is a great song. This is a great song, again, that gets used several times throughout the course of the game. So let's listen. This is Clouds from Wizards and Warriors 2. glad this loop ends where it does, because that specific part of the song where those two instruments are harmonizing with each other, which sounds like a really high-pitched bass and that kind of very specific whistly tune sound that they have, just with those two things doing those upward scales harmonizing is such a cool sound. I love this song.
Absolutely. It's very chill, I guess is the word I'm looking for. There's like a great little it's backbeat, like it's kind of like a shuffle in some way. But then, like, as I noticed it, all of a sudden it switched over to that dun 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 dun. So then it's like da, 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 and I was like, oh, okay, you got a little funky there. I was not expecting that. But yeah, really, really great tune. I dig it a lot.
Yeah, I think that I don't really know what else specifically besides that to say about it. Just it's such a well composed thing, and it is kind of chill. But this game doesn't have a time limit, you know. And even though it is pretty challenging, there's a lot of like, all right, can I make that jump? Can I make it over that cloud?
Yeah.
How am I standing on this cloud? I'm in a suit of armor. I should weigh a ton.
How come my head didn't just get crushed? Like, all right.
Nothing about this game or world makes sense, and I'm fine with it. Ah, boy. All right, so here we come to our first boss tune, because all four of the elementals have their own boss themes, and this is the music for the wind elemental. These tunes tend to loop kind of weird. Like, they almost seem unfinished to me, which has always struck me as strange. But they do loop in the game, just like this. They run their course, and then they start right over again. So, they're still awesome little pieces of music. There's just something kind of odd about the way that they start and stop. But either way, here is Wind Elemental. Enjoy.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll just go now.
No fade out for you.
Yeah. So abrupt.
You see what I mean? It almost seems unfinished. Like, you get that... It starts off with that kind of, like, cheap NES wind sound effect going on in the background, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It's neat. It accomplishes what it sets out to do.
Sure.
And then you get that big build-up with a doo-doo, and it's, like, doing the thumping bass drum. And then it does this really cool follow-up, but there's nothing... It sounds hollow. You know, we were talking before about everything sounding full. It doesn't seem like it's finished. It's got no percussion at all. It's just this little bit, which then loops right back around to that wind sound in the beginning. It's very strange to me.
Huh. Because you make a lot of good points there, right? But at the same time, I don't know that I feel the same about that. I can certainly see, or hear in this case, what you mean by kind of feels a little unfinished, or You know, the loop is a little weird. I don't know that I think that. I mean, I'm not insinuating that it bothers you. It doesn't bother me, and I almost feel like I was kind of just listening to it and, I don't know, waiting for something glaring, as you kind of put at the beginning, like, oh, it starts and stops in a little weird way, right?
The
so
other boss tunes, so we'll hear ones in the future that are far more glaring. This actually does line up rhythmically, which is very nice. I find it ever so slightly jarring because of the way that last chunk feels sort of unfinished to me, but there's other ones that are just like, oh, that's kind of weird.
I mean, obviously the most jarring part was just it suddenly ending, but
yeah,
you know, that's the nature of music, so it has to end at some point.
Does indeed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though. I thought it was actually really good. I did like the, you know, like those melodies are really cool. Like they're fun, I guess.
And this boss battle doesn't last particularly long, so the fact that the song loops the way that it does isn't really problematic.
Okay.
You get in there with Windbane, which really, what a great name for a spell that kills the wind elemental is Windbane. I love it.
Yeah.
You just go in there and you kind of mess this dude up pretty quick, and then you're on with your day. You get your piece of the IronSword and you move to the next area.
Nice.
So yes, good tune, good boss tune. Let's go underwater. The next original song you hear in the game is the bottom half of the water stage, which starts. I love the way this stage starts. You land at the top of a forest, so you're on top of the trees, and it's like very lightly raining, like as in just a couple of raindrops swirl by from time to time. It's very, very well done. And so instead of like in the first game, you start at the bottom of a forest and you work your way to the top. This one, you land on the tallest tree, and you're working your way down to the forest to eventually get under the forest to the underwater area. And this is an interesting tune. It really works for the underwater area that it's in. It's just such a weird song, and I mean that in a very good way. I think it's super cool. So here is Underwater. Enjoy. Well, that's Underwater.
Sure. No, that was very. You're right. It's very weird. For everything that you told me, like I can see kind of the idea of, you know, descending a canopy into the, you know, the grass or you know the earth below and then go underwater. That very first melody that pops out of nowhere, that was very unexpected. But like in a pleasant way, you know. I could sit here and, poo-poo it or whatever, and I'm definitely not.
It's strange, but it's very whimsical.
Right. Yeah, in a very kind of David Wise way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, having done the show with you for as long as I have, and getting to know composers by name, and I'm getting to a point where I sense their style too. So it's very interesting. But this was a really good track, actually. There's something that always happens in certain music for games that I love, and it's kind of this thing that I call in my head like imposing dread or doom. And this has that do. It's very cliche, but it works. It works so well. So
yeah, it is very effective at what it does. A little weird, but not in a bad way. Okay, so let's get to the boss. The boss of this stage is the water elemental. Probably the least impressive looking of the elemental bosses, because it's basically just like a giant fish tank with a face in it.
Wait, I was going to make a joke that you're fighting a fish tank, and then you said with a face in it, so you're fighting a fish tank. Got it.
Yeah, you're fighting the fish tank itself. It's just like a big blue rectangle with like a board in front of it. So it's like, okay, so this is a container of water, and there's a face in it that's spitting stuff at me. This is weird. But again, more good music. So here we go. Here is the water elemental. Enjoy.
I was expecting so much more.
Like,
what?
How
happened?
How do we end this? Heck with it.
I have an idea. What's that? Just stop. What do you mean? Just stop. Just stop playing. You want to end it? Stop playing. But won't that just stop? Okay.
What else is kind of like nutty about this one is this one does not loop in rhythm like that last one does. Like it does this stop and then it waits for like, I don't know, a second and a half and then it starts up again. It's kind of weird.
Okay. I mean, okay. So that aside, that was really good though. I liked it. There's some great simplicity to it that really kind of I don't know, speaks to my sensibilities. I really like that I just wish it kind of did a little bit more. Because it's a little unexpected, that kind of rhythm, and then to kind of like drop itself out for a second to kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's cool to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit repetitive. It's a bit short, but again, it's a little boss theme, and it is very it is very effective when you walk into that room because you don't necessarily know that's the boss room, and you can just turn around and leave if you don't have the spell. You just go in there like, uh-oh, boss music, gotta run.
So having never played this game, because what you just said has gotten me curious, is this a game that is kind of like a Mega Man where you decide where you're, like, who you're gonna fight next?
No, it's the stages all go in order, but the stages are all open, and the bosses are always behind doors, and it's not like, okay, here's the boss, now you have to fight the boss. You go into the room, like, well, that's where the boss is. But I need a spell in order to fight the boss. So you have to find the spell that defeats the boss before you can fight them. So if you accidentally go in there, you can just turn around and get the heck out if you want.
Okay, so they did kind of continue a bit of the Wizards and Warriors play style. Because I remember the levels being kind of just this big, I guess for lack of a better term, open area.
Yeah.
And you move freely about it.
That is exactly right.
Okay, cool.
Well, the next one we have here is the Fire Elemental. There weren't any more proper, unique stage tunes, so we just got a couple more boss themes to go about. And the next one is the Fire Elemental, and I like this one because this one kind of works as the boss theme, but also as like a big. This one isn't like a boss room where like both the Wind Elemental and Water Elemental. There's like this kind of like hallway you go through before, and then there's the boss at the end of it. And the Fire Elemental is interesting in that it is this lava pool with a face in it that's moving around. And I forget the name of the fire spell, but you have to, basically it drops an orb of energy downward. And so it's this big like pit open area. It's almost like a stage into itself, just the area where the boss is. And when you get to the bottom of it, there's the boss. And when you have the spell, you have to like lob the spell downward into his mouth, which is pretty interesting. It's a cool boss, and this is a nice this is a good tune. I like this tune a lot. Feels very hot. So
if it's anything but Latin music, I'm going to be upset. No, I'm just kidding.
Different kind of hot.
Gotcha.
Enjoy the parched sensation of Fire Elemental. Here you go. So that's what I meant. This is probably the most egregious looping problem. Like that's just not even kind of. It just seems like it's not done. It just seems like it's he just got to a point in the song and they're like, print it and then just loop it right at the end, whether it matches or not. Outside of that, it's a very effective tune for like the slow-paced kind of boss that this is. Like, this is very much like, all right, stop, get into the right position, drop the thingamahoo, move on to the next one kind of thing.
So is it just one-off? You just drop it in once and it's like...
No, you gotta do it a bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
But, like, there's all sorts of things attacking you from all angles while you're doing it. So it's like, get in a position, drop the thing, make sure you're safe, do it again.
Okay. That aside, I understand what you're saying about hot, how it feels hot. I can kind of sense, it's got that like volcano inside of a volcano, lava, red and black. Like if sound were to have, there's this, people have synesthesia. So for me, sometimes I hear sounds and I think of colors. I don't see them, I think of them. And so I see the red and black of a lava level and the orange and the yellow a bit. So I get it. It's pretty decent. The loop, I didn't catch the loop there per se. But I'm sure playing, this is only a minute. So I'm sure playing the actual game, it would take me a few minutes to figure out what I had to do. And I'm sure I'd be like, what the hell was that? Like, whoa. Yeah, but it was good. It was definitely good.
Yeah, nice tune. All right, so next up we have the Earth Elemental, which I like this boss because it's a wall. It's just it's a big rock wall with a nasty looking face.
Okay.
But I like this tune a lot, if I'm remembering it right. It's another one that's, pretty short. It's actually 1 second shorter than this last one, but it's a good one. So let's listen to Earth Elemental. Enjoy. and that's another loop that just doesn't quite match up. It's rhythmically, it just like, that's not right. I love the way this song starts. I really just wish there was more to it, right? It's got this great intro, and then it just goes into this cool rhythm, and it's like, where's the rest of it? This shouldn't be looping here. It's...
So first I'll say this. I really, really like that. I think so far of all the pieces that sits very high on my list. It's a little... It feels a little shortchanged. Like, I feel like, if you spend a couple more days on that, you could have really built it out, and it could have been something really cool, But for what it is, I think it's really good. Again, I don't know if I'm just kind of glazing over it. I'm just not catching the loop. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe because I'm hearing it for the first time, and like I said, you're playing the boss. You're there for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes, whatever it is, trying to figure out what it is you need to do. And I'm only hearing it for a minute, and maybe my brain's still processing what it's listening to, and I'm just not catching on to the loop yet. Like when I hear a thing and my brain gets okay with it, it's like, okay, cool, we've processed that. Like, what else is going on here? Looking for patterns and things like that. Whatever it is the brain does. So, I guess that's probably why I'm not finding it's so jarring immediately. I guess I'm sure if I listen to it a couple more times, oh, there it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just this. It doesn't follow the rhythm. Like there's the timing's off. That's what bugs me about it. It's like it's not like it just
when it rolls over.
Yeah, when it rolls over to the next one, it goes out of rhythm with the rest of the song. Like it doesn't just continue in a straight rhythm. If it did, then I wouldn't be bothered so much. But it still just drives me nuts that the song seems so unfinished. Like it seemed like there was some places for this to go, and they just kind of didn't.
Okay.
All right, so this next one is a weird combo song, because this song is both used while shopping and for Game Over. And I've always felt like this makes the most sense as a Game Over song, because it's kind of sad. You walk into a shop and it's like, this is kind of weird. I'm also now realizing that there's a song that's not on here, and I just don't even have it with my soundtrack. There's a weird little Bones game that you can play when you're in the shops, and it's got a very, 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 very repetitive tune, so I'm not like missing it. It's just striking me as odd that it's not here. But anyway, this track is Store/Game Over, and well, if you've played this game, you've probably heard this song a lot, so enjoy.
There we go again.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Nothing about that song makes me want to buy anything, but it does make me sad. Like, yeah, that's Game Over music right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I were to interview David Wise, which is one of my life's goals, if I were to interview him, I would ask if this game was genuinely unfinished in the music department, because it feels like there's so many songs that should have had more to them, and then there's like the stage music is repeated throughout the game, and then you have stuff like the Store and the Game Over tune, like they don't match. Like those two instances don't really tonally match, so it's so strange that this song is used in both of those places.
Excuse me. Well, you know, one day you'll get to ask him.
One day I'll get up the nerve to reach out to David Wise and be like, hey, you're friends with Banjo Guy Ollie, and he's my friend too. Could you talk to me, please? And then we'll do the interview, and you'll have to do all the talking, because I'll just be saying, all the time.
That's cool. I'm okay with that. I like talking to people.
I'll send you my questions so you can ask them.
Totally cool. That I would love, like, what do you call it? Like cameras watching us as you just, like, you know, David Wise. Like, yes, Kris, you said his name 4 times now.
just a little starstruck.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Ah, man.
So, yeah, I like the song. I just don't really like where it's placed.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I mean, having not played the game, I don't know. I can't speak too harshly about its placement. The concept of it being a shop song does sit a little strange for me, but I don't know. Maybe it depends on what the shop looks like. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because I feel like sometimes they design certain things a certain way, and then if you look at it as an artist who's going to be making music for it, you know, you're going to take that into you're going to factor that in, rather.
I don't know.
Yep. We're doing such a great podcast. A medium where you need to speak and not have dead air. Great job.
Well, I can always edit out dead air. That's easy.
No, I think you should keep it because it's funny.
True.
'Cause we've just made fun of ourselves.
All right, so the next track is Last Battle, and I love this song. It is a very strange tune to apply to a last battle. I've always thought that it works, but I've spoken to a couple people who really disagree with me. It is a very triumphant sort of song, and it's like, to me, this song sounds like you just went through a lot to get here, and now here you are on Icefire Mountain. You gotta beat all the elementals at the same time. They're flying all over the place.
I hate when they do that. Oh my god. Sorry.
Well, it's not like you have to beat all the bosses as they were at the same time. These are smaller versions of them that all act uniquely and fly around the screen.
So a smaller fish tank is what you're telling me.
Yeah, sort of. It's just like, it's the water symbol. I don't know what that is, but it's trying to kill me, and I'm gonna kill it right back. I just love this song so darn much. I don't know that it's the best fit for a final boss battle. I personally felt that it was. Like, it's so invigorating. Like, all right, if you do this, you're done. It's very hopeful, which is not usual for final battle music, but I find it quite effective. So here is Last Battle on Icefire Mountain from Wisdom Warriors 2. Enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that song.
So, okay. First things first. Out of context, you tell me it's a last boss fight. I have to agree with other people. I don't know that it tonal quality and everything, its composition, like belongs in something like a Kirby game or a different kind of side-scrolling platformer or something. I don't know. I just don't see it in a Wizards and Warriors kind of in that type of game. But I definitely understand what you're saying, where you're like, it has this hopefulness about it and stuff. So I can absolutely see that. But yeah, I mean, sight unseen, sight unplayed. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't get it.
Here's what's especially interesting about it is that this isn't just the last battle music, it's also the end credits theme.
Okay.
But what's super interesting about that is that there's no break. It's not like it stops and then starts again and the credits roll. It's like you beat the boss and then it transitions right into the credits, but the music never stops playing. It's a very strange. I do find it ultimately effective. But it is a very strange way of doing that whole ending sequence. And again, it makes me wonder, was this the way that it was because of some sort of time limitation? Like, everything about this game is so well put together and the music is outstanding, like from a composition standpoint, but it just seems like there wasn't enough of it. Like they just said, all right, this is good enough. We gotta ship this now. So I don't know. I'm very confused, but I do like it. I like what I heard quite a bit. So for the final tune for us is a nice short one. It's the boss defeated tune. This is after you beat a boss, you go into these little rooms, and it's got a piece of the IronSword in it, and it's just a nice jaunty little hey, good job, you did the thing. And I thought that would be a nice fun way to end things. So let's go ahead and listen to Boss Defeated. Enjoy. Yay.
There's what is that opening melody? I have to hear it again. I'm gonna play it real quick because it reminds me. I feel like someone else lifted that melody for their purpose. Give me a second here. It's reminding me of Fastball. Do you remember that group Fastball? They had that song The Way.
Yeah.
Anyone could see the road that they drave on his
Oh my goodness!
Yeah! Oh!
Anyone could see the road that they walked on his way.
And I do actually know the lyrics. I just can't. I don't want to get sued. Wow. I'm sorry. That sparked that in my head. I have to hear it one more time. It's just enough. It's just enough to put that song in my head. Okay, sorry.
I've never made that connection, but you're absolutely right.
I don't know. I might be grasping at straws here, but
no, that. I mean, I doubt it directly influenced that band or anything. No. It's totally a coincidence.
It's such an obscure. Yeah, it's and what, like practically 40 years. No, I'm 25, 30 years apart. But anyway, yeah, I really like this. I like this a lot. I agree with you. It's a nice little piece that kind of plays, afterwards. And, I like a little triumphant music, a little recognition from the game that I did something pretty cool. Why not?
Here's your piece of the IronSword. Before you jump into the next stage, let's get to work.
Get on out of here, you scamp.
Yeah, go. have fun. And that about wraps it up, huh? That's IronSword Wizards and Warriors 2, and that is the second to last of our revisit extravaganza. What else to call it?
I would have jumped in, but I didn't know where you were going.
And so you got any final thoughts on this before we close this episode out?
Nothing apart from the fact that I probably should play this one. I really enjoyed part 1, or game 1, whatever you want to call it, the original Wizards and Warriors, and this music is really good, and I'd actually like to see it in, or hear it in context, rather.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic game. I love this game, and I'm so bummed that this franchise is just locked in history. It's never been ported to anything ever. The company that owns the rights, I don't remember what they're called, they've done nothing to it. They're just holding it. Like, nobody's done anything with it, and it's such a bummer because this is a great series of games. The first 3 for NES are excellent, and the Game Boy game has a good soundtrack. It's probably about the best I can say about it.
I was wondering where this was going. Yeah,
the Game Boy game is, in fact, a Game Boy game.
A Game Boy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bummer. But anyway, that's it. That's our show. Join us next time when we'll be concluding our rerun series with... Ready?
I'm ready.
Katamari Damacy reroll.
Oh, how my heart sings.
I mean, I love the Katamari soundtrack so much, and the fact that they did a re-release and gave it a different title that's enough of an excuse for me to do it again. I would have done it again just like IronSword, to be honest with you, but boy, I am so excited. I love the Katamari music. It's so good.
It really is.
That's going to be a fun episode.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
All right, we here at the WaveBack podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat, where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff related to video game music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. We also have a WaveBack forum page on Facebook, which, for the millionth time, I don't really pay attention to, so I should stop saying it. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com, and while you're at it, check out all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. And be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. Matt, you got anything fun to push?
The 19th of this month, which, looking at the time now, this might not come out. This probably won't come out in time. Will be another Transgalactic Uno Cup Championship, Uno Battle Royal, in which our good friend M the Mercenary will, go back into battle again, maybe taking the cup away from the lunatic fringe Dr. Strike.
Is it M the Mercenary or Mercenary M?
It's M the Mercenary.
I see.
It's my understanding that Vestlord really likes to get under M's skin and call him Mercenary M.
I see.
Uh-huh. So, for anyone who cares about this, it's M the Mercenary. So, if you want to stay on his good side, that's what he tells me.
Okay, alright, cool. Yeah, I remember the first poster that was released for it had Mercenary M written on it. So that was just that was just old Vesty Bones.
He playing mind games.
It's messed up.
Playing the mind games, yeah.
That's vest up.
That is vest up. Dad jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got going on.
I don't think I have anything specific. I did a fun video on the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel, and I can't even remember what it was about now.
Speaking of which, I love your TikTok stuff. They're so short and they're so sweet and they're perfect. I love them. I absolutely love them.
Thank you.
So keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. I've already recorded this week's totally true Stone Age fact. So, what is the secret connection between Sonic Jam and Def Jam Fight for New York? You'll find out.
What? You've actually blown my mind. I need to know this. I'll wait till it comes out, but there's no way.
Well, there definitely is, because all of these facts are 100% true.
What? Just blew my mind. All right. Let me stop fucking screwing around.
All right. So we're going to leave you tonight with a fun little track, which is an unused track. This is a song that is just on the cartridge. It's never used in the game, but when the information was dumped from the cartridge, this song popped up. So it's a weird little tune, So enjoy it, and we'll see you next time for some rolling goodness in Katamari Damacy reroll. Goodbye!